Girls are sketching graphs of the circles. The center here is 0, 3. It comes out the opposite, and then the square root of 1 is the radius. And then just graphed it. Before I do the domain and range, we'll go over here. Center comes out opposite, -3, -2, and square root of 9. I never label anything. Probably should do that. Everybody okay with those? All right, so we've graphed both of those, domain and range. It's here. How did you write it? Square bracket? Okay. Square bracket? You have to go.
The other way. I was going downwards.
Yeah, don't go downwards. That's good. Thank you. Good catch. Okay. Then, is everybody all right with that? I think most people had that.
So are you supposed to write it like going upwards, not down?
Yeah, so always from least to most, from ascending on both of them, like going that way and going from negative infinity to infinity. Yeah? A lot of people don't, which is wrong. And they get it wrong, which is sad. So yeah, always ascending. So what do you reckon for the domain here? Is it? -6? 0? I think you use 9 instead of 3. Square root. Okay. And from 5? -5 up to 1. And definitely do some labeling. Don't be like your old teacher. Put some labels on. So, put 1 point on the circle, like -3, 1.
Attention students, can we have Polly write to the office, please? That's Polly.
All right, we've just tried to graph this on our calculator and it was yucky. So we're going to go y equals square root of 5 minus x squared. Okay, now, when there's no bracket, well, there's no brackets here, but when there's no brackets in there with that x, that means I'm at 0, 0. Like the center of this semicircle is at 0, 0. I'll just sneak back for one more second. This is my spare booklet. Okay. Okay, when I'm like this, the center is at 0, 0. So I can take my picture and say the center is at 0, 0. Do I know if I'm above the x-axis or below the x-axis? A calculator said above, so that was a key thing it gave me. But there's also a plus sign out here, so I know I'm above. What's the radius? Square root of 5. So it's whatever is here, right? Whatever's there, square root of 5. How big is that? Bigger than, what two whole numbers is it between? 2 and 3. Okay, so it's bigger than square root of 4, but just, right? So let's do that. Let's go 1, 2, and then put a little tick there, and put square root of 5. Go 1, 2, put a little tick there, and put square root of 5. Because when I put 0 there, oh, I won't do that, sorry. When I put square root of 5 there, I get 0. How up here? 1, 2. Boy, my lines are really bad. Sorry. 1, 2, take square root of 5. Okay. So my calculator didn't even show it hitting the x-axis. I just need to be careful. Domain and range. I'll let you have a second. Okay, it's cold in here, isn't it? Here? This one? That would be really bad. Semicircle. That would be something else. Okay. For the circle with an equation blah, give the equation of its lower semicircle and state its domain and range. Whoa. You ready for that? What do you think you need to do? Does it even look like a circle? That 4 there? Is there like a, in the circle equations, is there like that A, you know what I mean? Like the front number, the front coefficient? Is it ever there? No. The semicircle, though, we know looks like this. I'm just going to write the equation. I should have done that before. I'll write it kind of reddish. So the semicircle equation looks like that's what the semicircle equation looks like. And my feeling is that we should try to do that. Okay, so there it is. So basically make y the subject. You happy to start that? Okay. Give the equation of its lower semicircle. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting to that. So we're going to go. So I'm really getting there. What does it mean, lower? Lower. Yeah, below the x-axis. I like it. But also, that's the minus one. Yeah? The negative out there. So this was like plus or minus here. The lower one is the minus one underneath the bowl. I don't know what they say. Above the x-axis. Maybe they do higher. Upper? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so there we are. And state the domain and range. It doesn't say I have to graph it. Can you visualize it? What's the radius? I'm so interested to know. A half. Good. Okay, so the radius is a half. We could write that. I graph everything because that's kind of how, I don't know, I just do. I know it's at 0, 0, and so I would at least in my mind do a little sketcheroo where I was like, okay, it's out to a half, negative, thank you, out to a half, down to a half, and it's looking like that, yeah? I probably would just do a little thing for myself before I did the domain and range. Is that okay? Good woman. I don't really care about that right now. It does not bother me. It's going to be any number of things over there by the end. Okay, now we have to complete the square twice. We have to complete the square here, and we have to complete the square here. So I'm going to take the first one, and I'm going to add half the middle term squared. Remember? Divide 6 by 2 and square it. What's that? 9. And I'm going to add 9 also onto this side. So I've added 9 to both sides of the equation, totally balanced. Then I'm going to do the y. Y squared minus 2y. And I'm going to put here half of negative 2 squared, 1. And I'm going to add 1 over here. So I'm going to do the say it again? No, I'm adding it to both sides. When we did completing the square before, we didn't have an equals bar, and so we added it on and subtracted it on to keep it the same. But now we have an equal, so it's great. I can just add it to both sides to keep it the same. Okay, so we've done the completing. I'll put complete the square twice. This video is like an epic blockbuster. And I'm going to write it down what it is. I'm kind of going fast because of the video, but I can go over it again. No, -1. Lisa, you got me crazy. Okay, now I've got -2, 3 on 2, plus 9, plus 1. So that's 10. So what's that, 8.5? I think? Is that all right with everybody? Did I do that math right? Somebody check me. It's not, it's right? Okay. So I found the center now. It's -3, 1. And I found the radius. It's the square root of 8.5. That's clever.